Have you ever had something important to do? And instead, you cleaned your entire room, checked your email, made coffee, and suddenly decided to reorganize your desktop? That's procrastination. And you're not alone. We all do it. Students, professionals, even people who teach productivity. It's part of being human. But it doesn't have to control you. Today, we're going to break down why we procrastinate, and more importantly, how to stop. Because this habit isn't just annoying. It can quietly hold back your potential, drain your confidence, and leave you stuck in cycles of guilt and stress. Let's start with what procrastination actually is. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's not a lack of willpower or discipline. It's a coping mechanism. A way our brain protects us from discomfort. See, when we procrastinate, we're not avoiding the task itself. We're avoiding how the task makes us feel. Maybe it's fear. Fear of failure. Fear of not being good enough. Maybe it's overwhelm, we don't even know where to start. Maybe it's boredom, the task just doesn't stimulate us. Or maybe it's perfectionism, if it can't be perfect, why bother starting? So our brain chooses short-term comfort over long-term growth. It picks a quick hit of dopamine from scrolling or snacking instead of facing the discomfort of doing something challenging but important. And the more we do that, the more it becomes a habit. Avoidance becomes automatic. But here's the thing, procrastination isn't about time management. It's about emotional management. If you want to stop procrastinating, you have to learn how to handle the feelings that come up when you face hard things. Now let's talk about what's happening in your brain. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That's how we've survived for thousands of years. Back then, pain meant danger, and pleasure meant safety. But in today's world, pain often just means discomfort, like starting a report, having a difficult conversation, or writing the first sentence of an essay. Still, your brain reacts the same way. It says, "This feels bad. Let's do something easier." That's why it's so easy to delay a task, even when we know we'll feel worse later. So how do we fix it? Let me share a simple 3-step framework that actually works. I've used it myself and shared it with thousands of people. It's not magic, but it is practical and effective. Step 1, shrink the task. Most procrastination happens because a task feels too big, too vague, too overwhelming. Instead of write the report, say open the document and write the title. Instead of clean the kitchen, say put one plate in the dishwasher. You want to make the first step so small, it feels ridiculous not to do it. Because action, even tiny action, creates momentum. And once you start, your brain switches gears. You're no longer avoiding. You're progressing. Step 2, use the 10-minute rule. Tell yourself, I'll do this for just 10 minutes. Then I can stop if I want to. This works because starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, it's easier to keep going. It removes the pressure of doing it all perfectly or all at once. It's like tricking your brain into cooperating. And more often than not, you'll find yourself going beyond those 10 minutes. Step 3, make the cost of procrastination real. Ask yourself, if I keep avoiding this, what happens? What does it cost you, in stress, missed opportunities, confidence? We often procrastinate because we disconnect from the consequences. But when you face them, clearly and honestly, it becomes harder to justify the delay. Now let me share a personal example. A few years ago, I had a project I kept putting off. It was important, something I really cared about, but I couldn't get started. Every day, I told myself I'd do it tomorrow. And every evening, I felt guilty for not starting. One night, I was tired of feeling stuck. So I opened the file. That's all I did. Just open the document. Then I told myself, write one sentence. That sentence turned into a paragraph. That paragraph turned into a page. And over time, the project came to life. Not because I had a burst of motivation, but because I started small and stayed consistent. That moment taught me something powerful. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. And once you begin, everything changes. Now let's talk about a few practical tools you can use to support this. First, change your environment. Remove distractions. Put your phone in another room. Clear your desk. Make your space support your intention. If you want to focus, create a focused environment. Second, use accountability. Tell someone what you plan to do, and when. Even better, ask them to check in on you. Knowing someone else is watching can give you just enough pressure to follow through. Third, reward progress. Don't wait until the task is done to feel good. Celebrate the effort, the showing up, the starting, the small wins. This builds a positive feedback loop. And it makes action feel rewarding, not punishing. Here's one more mindset shift that helps: stop aiming for perfect. Aim for done. Perfectionism is a trap. It tells you not to start until everything is perfect, which means you never start. But progress comes from doing, not overthinking. So give yourself permission to do it badly, just get it done. You can always improve it later. Before we wrap up, let's review. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's a habit, driven by emotion and reinforced by short-term rewards. But you can change it. Shrink the task. Start with just 10 minutes. Make the cost of avoiding it visible. Build an environment that supports action. And reward yourself for showing up, not just finishing. You don't need to be perfectly productive. You just need to be consistent. One small step today leads to real momentum tomorrow. And remember, you're not lazy. You're not broken. You're human. But you're also capable of growth, discipline, and change. So, what's one thing you've been putting off? Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait to feel ready. Just start, right now. Even for 2 minutes. Because action beats anxiety. And starting is always the hardest part. You've got this. Thanks for listening, and if this helped, keep going. You're capable of more than you think. Subscribe for more self-mastery content.